Have you ever woken up from a dream so vivid, so bizarre, that it felt like you just lived another life? I've been keeping a dream journal, and tonight I want to take you on a journey through the weird and wonderful landscapes of my subconscious. It's going to be a wild ride, so buckle up. Let's start with a dream from back in July 2021. It began like something out of a cartoon. I was literally in a game of Card Wars, throwing playing cards like ninja stars. My friends and I were on these rolling hills, but then the scene shifted. Suddenly, we were crawling through icy fields, facing a whole army. We'd throw our cards and then duck for cover. It was a strange mix of playful and serious, a battle fought with paper. But then, just as I looked up from our trench, everything changed again. The icy battlefield dissolved into a warm, suburban town. The sun was out, and it seemed like love was in the air. Everywhere I looked, couples were together, happy. I even saw an old work acquaintance on a date. It felt a bit lonely, to be honest, like I was the only one on the outside looking in. The dream then took a darker, more aggressive turn. A huge guy appeared out of nowhere, grabbed me, choked me, and threw me to the ground. It was terrifyingly real. The mood swung from playful combat to romantic melancholy, and then to outright fear, all in a matter of moments. And then things got even stranger. The dream morphed into a scene of women on a road trip, laughing and having a great time. It was a moment of pure, uninhibited joy. After that, I found myself in a restaurant, which is a common theme in my dreams. I was eating something very specific: tangerine fried chicken. And all I could think about was getting back to a classroom. It's funny how the mind works, right? One minute you're in a fantasy battle, the next you're craving a very specific, probably non-existent dish. Following that urge, the dream me headed back to school. But this wasn't just any school. When I walked in, I saw all my classmates, from high school all the way through college, all in one room. It was like a reunion of my entire academic life. People were giving me tips on where to sit. I finally found the classroom, which looked more like a small house. I knocked on 3 different doors before someone finally let me in. Of course, I was late. And who was the teacher? A student teacher I used to play Scrabble with back in 2015. We hadn't seen each other in years, but there she was, at the front of my dream class. It's fascinating how our brains pull these people from our deep past and give them new roles in our dreams. Let's jump forward a few months to September. This dream was shorter, but left a powerful feeling. I dreamt I woke up in the middle of the night, around 2 a.m., but I wasn't in my bed. I was in a field, under the stars. There was a bonfire, and people were playing this happy acoustic music. I can't remember the song, but it felt so familiar, so comforting. People were dancing around the fire, moving in a way that reminded me of the traditional Igorot dances from the Philippines. I even recognized some of the faces in the crowd. I remember taking a deep breath of the cold night air, feeling this sense of peace and community. And then I actually woke up in my own bed. It was 2 a.m. I was shirtless, and I could still feel the phantom cold on my skin. It was one of those dreams that blurs the line between the sleeping and waking world, leaving you with a feeling that lingers long after you're awake. Next up, a dream from November that was intense, to say the least. It started peacefully enough. I was walking alone at dawn, in a quiet, beautiful place. Then I was on a bus. I remember seeing the bus conductor. She was really beautiful. She was trying to talk to someone, and this guy sitting next to me started harassing her. My dream self, who is apparently much braver than my waking self, tried to intervene. I kept saying, "I'm next," trying to distract him, but he just told me to shut up and punched me in the face. So, what did I do? I headbutted him. It was brutal. His nose was bleeding, and the bus screeched to a halt. We both got off, and I sat down, dazed. The conductor came over to me and started wiping my face with her handkerchief. I hadn't even realized I was bleeding until I saw the cloth covered in my blood. Then more chaos. Another conductor collapsed, his face hitting the floor, blood everywhere. People rushed to help him, and I overheard stories about how the bus company employees were being exploited and treated terribly. The dream was a chaotic mix of violence, a strange sort of heroism, and a sudden sharp commentary on labor exploitation. It was a lot to process. When I finally woke up for real, it was 11 in the morning. I felt exhausted, like I'd actually been in a fight. Finally, let's look at a dream from this past January. This one was all about change, and it hit close to home. I was in my mother's hometown, but it was drastically different. The dream started with an argument with my brother. He was wearing a white coat, looking very formal, and was angry with me. We went our separate ways. He walked north, I walked south. I remember my outfit vividly: a black cape, black shirt, jeans, and boots, and I was carrying my public administration manuals. I felt like some kind of strange academic superhero. As I walked, I saw that the landscape I knew and loved, the rice fields and small hills, had been completely torn up. In its place were two huge expressways, one high up on the hill and one down below. There were massive gas station signs, tunnels, and construction everywhere. It was a vision of massive, rapid industrial progress, and I felt this deep conflict. Part of me was horrified. I missed the natural beauty, the peace of the place I remembered. But another part of me thought, who am I to stand in the way of progress? It's a question that I think a lot of us grapple with in our waking lives too, the fear of change versus the inevitability of it. This dream felt less like a random collection of images and more like a direct reflection of my real-world anxieties about development, identity, and the loss of the past. So, from ninja card battles and mysterious classrooms to defending strangers on a bus and witnessing the transformation of my family's home, my dreams are a pretty wild place. They can be fun, scary, deeply emotional, and profoundly strange. But I think that's what makes them so fascinating. They are a window into the deepest, most creative, and sometimes most anxious parts of our minds. What are the strangest dreams you've ever had? I would love to read about them in the comments below. Thanks so much for coming on this strange journey with me. If you enjoyed this peek into my subconscious, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you in the next one.